Right now, across the United States, something quiet, but serious is happening. Millions of Americans are getting closer to retirement and realizing they might not be ready. Not because they didn't work hard, not because they didn't save, but because the rules around money don't feel the same anymore. Social Security alone doesn't stretch like it used to. Everyday costs keep rising, and the money people set aside for the future often grows slower than life gets expensive. That's creating a lot of anxiety, especially for families who did what they were supposed to do, yet still feel unsure. And now, you may be hearing conversations about new directions, new ideas, and new ways retirement savings could work in the years ahead. Not promises, not shortcuts, just a shift in how people are thinking about the future. This isn't about complicated finance. It's about understanding where things stand today and what options may exist moving forward. Because retirement isn't about luxury, it's about stability, peace of mind, and not worrying about money when work is finally behind you. So if you've ever wondered, will my savings really be enough? Or, what happens if costs keep rising? Then stay with me, because this is something every American should understand. Right now, something important is happening across the United States. Millions of Americans are working hard, saving consistently, doing what they were told to do, and still feeling unsure about the future. Not because they failed, but because the world around money has changed. The cost of living keeps rising. Healthcare isn't getting cheaper. And retirement, once a clear finish line, now feels further away than expected. For a long time, the plan felt simple. Work, save, rely on long-term systems to carry you through. But today, that formula needs more awareness, because money doesn't lose value all at once. It loses value quietly. Over time, inflation slowly reduces purchasing power, years pass faster than expected, and savings that don't grow efficiently begin to fall behind real life. Here's the part most people don't realize. If your money is saved, invested, or sitting in a retirement account, it's already connected to the market. Whether you watch it or not, whether you understand it or not, the market isn't just headlines and numbers on a screen. It's businesses expanding, jobs being created, infrastructure being built, technology changing how we live. And when money is positioned where growth happens, it has a chance to move with the economy, instead of being left behind by it. Now, this doesn't mean taking reckless risks. It doesn't mean chasing trends. And it definitely doesn't mean guessing. It means understanding how money actually grows over long periods of time. Because small differences matter. A slightly higher cost here, a slower growth rate there, a set-and-forget approach that never adjusts. Over decades, those details compound. This is why more Americans are starting to ask better questions. Not, how much am I saving, but how is my money working? The goal isn't speed. The goal is alignment. Alignment with the modern economy. Alignment with long-term reality. Alignment with the future you're trying to build. So now the question becomes, what does all of this actually mean for you? Because most Americans aren't trying to outsmart the market. They're not chasing fast money, they just want to know their future is protected. And here's the good news. You don't need dramatic changes. You need small, smart adjustments, done intentionally. Most retirement money in America goes into default settings. You sign up, you pick a percentage, and then you don't look at it again for years. That setup feels safe, but over time, it can become expensive. Not in obvious ways, in quiet ways. Because money doesn't just grow on effort, it grows on how it's positioned. Think of it like this. If all your money is leaning in one direction, you feel every shift in the economy. But when your money is spread across different areas, growth, stability, income, long-term development, pressure gets reduced. This is where balance comes in. Not all growth needs to come from the same place. Some areas move fast, some move steady, some protect value over time. When these work together, your plan becomes stronger. Now pause. This does not mean putting everything into risky ideas. It means layering. Strong foundation first, proven market exposure, long-term consistency. Then, carefully, adding limited exposure to areas connected to how today's economy actually works. Innovation, infrastructure, real-world assets, future-facing growth, all in moderation. Another piece most people overlook, fees. They seem small, they sound harmless, but over decades, they quietly eat results. Two people can save the same amount, invest for the same length of time, and still end up in completely different places, simply because of costs. That's why implementation matters. Not reacting, not panicking, just reviewing, looking at where your money is, understanding how it moves, and deciding if it still makes sense. Today, this isn't about predicting crashes. It's about preparing for change, because the economy will keep shifting, markets will keep evolving, and the people who stay calm but informed are the ones who stay in control. And now comes the most important part, because once strategy is clear, mindset decides everything. Here's the part most people don't talk about, but it's the part that decides everything. Two people can have the same income, the same savings, the same opportunities, and still end up in very different places. Why? Mindset. Not optimism, not fear, but how they respond when the market moves. And it always moves. Because markets don't go up in straight lines. They pause. They pull back. They test patience. And this is where many Americans lose, not money first, but confidence. When prices drop, headlines get louder. When uncertainty rises, emotions take over, and suddenly, long-term plans turn into short-term reactions. This is how people end up selling at the worst time, chasing what already went up, and abandoning strategies that actually work over time. Smart planning isn't about avoiding risk. It's about understanding it. Risk isn't one thing. There's reckless risk, moving fast without a plan. And there's calculated risk, measured, limited, intentional. The difference matters. Calculated risk is what allows growth to happen, without putting the entire future on the line. This is why balanced plans work. When your core is stable, you're not forced to panic during volatility. When speculative pieces are limited, a downturn doesn't derail everything. And when you understand why your money is structured the way it is, you're less likely to react emotionally. That's the real advantage. Not secret investments, not perfect timing, but clarity. Because clarity creates patience, and patience compounds. Another mindset shift. Short-term noise doesn't equal long-term failure. Bad years happen, flat years happen. They don't cancel decades of progress unless you let them. The people who succeed financially aren't emotionless. They're disciplined, they stick to structure, they adjust slowly. They don't let headlines make decisions for them, and here's the truth. Financial confidence doesn't come from knowing everything. It comes from knowing enough to stay calm when others panic. That's what separates stress from stability, fear from control, and hope from actual progress. And once you understand that, the final step becomes clear, because awareness, structure, and mindset only matter if you act on them. So, let's bring this home. The future doesn't get decided in one big moment. It's shaped slowly, quietly, by the choices we repeat. America is in a different financial moment right now. Longer lives, higher costs,